What's up, guys? Super here with another rant by daylight. If you guys don't know me, I play a lot of DBD. I have 5,000 hours, but I've also been taking quite a long break, at least in regard to content creation and trying to make builds and such, because I feel like DBD has shifted quite far away from the fun build aspect that I used to enjoy with a little bit of efficiency. It's a really difficult thing to explain, but today I wanted to talk about what is considered toxic in Dead by Daylight. This is a conversation that's been going on since I have started the game. I started back in the Trickster days and possibly even like just before Trickster, and no one seems to agree what is toxic and what isn't. So I thought I'd weigh in because I think it's really important to understand what is truly toxic versus what is perceived toxicity. Let's start from the killer looking at survivor. I'm a killer main. Most of my hours are in killer. So I noticed that a lot of the time when survivors do cheeky things like emote after a stun, or they start teabagging you, what's considered teabagging, after a stun, or to try to get your attention, maybe after a tunnel, more often than not, that's exactly what it is. It's to get your attention, it's to get into your head, it's to show maybe a little bit of frustration, but to call it toxic, I don't agree with. I don't think that you can be toxic for playing the game, right? This goes on both sides. You can't be toxic for using perks that the devs give you to use. You can't be toxic for using mechanics to get into someone's head, to play strategically, and to potentially throw off their game when it's a mechanic that the devs have given you. If you're hacking, it's a completely different story. If you're abusing bugs, or, in DBD, a lot of the times it's vault locations that make you unhittable, that is toxic. Yes, you're actually ruining the experience of the game. But if you're simply using the tools available to you to get in someone else's head, to play strategically, and to win, I don't think that's toxic. I don't think it's toxic to want to win. What is toxic is how you treat people at the end of it all, right? You can teabag all game to try to get my attention. I could down you, I could WS you, which I know for survivors, when killers WS, that's seen as toxic as well. More often than not, again, I'm just getting into someone's head. And it's normally someone who's really good. If they're really, really good and they're teabagging and they're emoting, I'll WS as well, just to try to get into their head as well. It's a mind game, and I feel like DBD really is that. It's a mind game. If you can throw someone off, if you can frustrate them enough, if you can get in their head, you can win. And it is a team-based game on the survivor side and a solo game on the killer side. So why not? Why wouldn't you want to get in someone's head to try to win? Now, again, like I said in my last video, I know not everyone takes the game seriously, not everyone's competitive with it, not everyone has the same outline as to what a win is, or the win condition is. And it's fair. It's fair. You can't use MMR as your sole gauge for what is considered winning or not, especially in a game that is very RNG focused. But back to the main point, toxicity. I don't think that using game mechanics and using perks and doing things as silly as emoting or debagging, hitting crouch a bunch of times, is toxic. What's always toxic is how you treat someone at the end. Tunneling, camping, all that stuff is just to get to an objective, right? It's simply to win the game. But how you treat someone in the endgame chat, if they have endgame chat, right? How you treat someone when you know that they're a streamer and they're live, going into their stream, how you treat people is more important. The endgame chat, it doesn't matter if I get WS'd, if I WS you, I don't care if I get teabagged 100 times. I genuinely don't care if you emote on me. Yes, sometimes it'll frustrate me, but it's always going to be, wow, GG's, or dang, that sucked. That's frustrating and unlucky. RNG was not on my side. it's always directed to the game and not the person. Does that make sense? Actually, that's a really valid point here. And I'm gonna go off of that. As long as you keep everything in the game, not toxic, in my opinion. The second that you take it out of the game, the second that you make it personal, the second that you make it about the person controlling the character instead of just the game itself, that's when it becomes toxic. Obviously, also, if you have homophobia, racism, that kind of stuff, that is all part of it. Don't do that. Don't be that person, because no one likes that person, no one appreciates that, and that is toxic no matter who you are. But if it's simply just a game thing, don't take it so seriously. It is a game. Go to the next one. Say you're frustrated. Be like, yo, that was a frustrating game. Dang, you guys did right. You guys did well. Or, oh man, I really messed that up. And then go next. That's coming from someone who rages and mauls all the time. I rage and mauled at the game, not the people. Dang, this character is really good. Dang, this character is really frustrating. Dang, I'm not saying the person who's playing the character is any sort of way. I'm like, ah, this Meg wants to be a little cheeky, huh? They want to be a little cocky. All right, let's go. It's always about the game characters and the game itself. And then on the survivor end, just because a killer is tunneling you doesn't mean that they don't like you or that they dislike you for some reason specifically, or it's that character that you're playing. Stop assuming the worst in people, because that is what's toxic. Assuming the worst in people is the quintessential idea of being toxic. Outside of the main, racism, homophobia, sexism, that kind of stuff. Don't I'm saying don't be that person, but outside of that, the assumption that someone else is toxic for the way they played is what is inherently toxic and what I consider projection. Hot take. A really, really good question. Not question, sorry. I'm not going to edit any of this. That's a really good tangent to go off of. So, anyway, just want to talk about that. I hope you guys have an amazing day, night, time zone. Don't forget that DBD is just a game. I hope you guys have a great time in the fog. Don't forget to follow me on my socials if you want to have actual conversations like this. Even if I'm playing games like 7 Days to Die or Repo or anything else while I'm streaming, you are more than welcome to come in and talk to me about practically anything, but obviously more so if it's DBD related and you want to have a conversation, please feel free. I would love to have conversations with y'all. If not, and you just want to chat and comment, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you guys on the next one. See you later, gamers. Treat people with respect. Don't be rude. All right, I'm out.